welcome to episode 65 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. I am, of course, your host, Bill Pivets. If you guys want, follow me on Twitter, at @bpiv_sports. Also, rate, review the show on iTunes, Podbean, YouTube. You get the idea. So this week of NXT, we were actually led into with no idea what was going on. No matches were advertised, no interview segments, no returns, anything like that. So it was interesting to see what they had up their sleeve. There was a lot of takeover build-up, and I actually found out the name of the next takeover, I believe, is called Takeover Revenge, and I like it. Knowing what the main event is, it makes a lot of sense. And also the tag team title match, too. Revenge is a good sub-headline for this special. So the show opened with William Regal welcoming us. He said that he planned to have Bayley versus Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver, but he said the medical staff advised not to put her in the match after what happened with her match against Nia Jax. So he announced a triple threat match between Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax to determine the number one contender. First match was Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa against the team formerly known as the Mighty Don't Kneel, now known as TM61. Before I get started into the match, I'm actually appreciative of having Gargano and Ciampa appear more on NXT. Like I mentioned last week, I would love for them to become a full-time fixture, and seeing them 2 weeks in a row warms my heart. As far as TM61, they are some small guys, similar to Ciampa and Gargano, but they are very talented. I don't know much of their stuff on the indie stuff and their time in Australia, but I've heard really good things about them, and I'm looking forward to what they can do. The team is made up of Nick Miller and Shane Thorne. As soon as I heard Nick Miller, I thought of New Girl. I don't know if there's any New Girl fans out there, but I just imagine Nick Miller in a wrestling ring and how awkward he is, and that threw me for a loop. But as far as the match, Miller and Ciampa started. Really not much happened, so they tagged in their respective partners. Thorne landed a nice drop kick off the ropes, and TM61 took control. Gargano was able to get the tag to Ciampa. TM61 missed a double back elbow, a little botch. I don't know if they were moving too quick. One wasn't in the right spot, but the one guy just completely missed him. Gargano and Ciampa were sent to the outside by the new team. They regrouped a little bit and led to the first commercial break. Back from break a little later, Gargano speared Thorne through the ropes. Ciampa and Gargano worked over Thorne. Shane was able to come back with a nice dropkick of his own and tagged in Miller. He double clotheslined both of his opponents. Miller caught Ciampa with caught him like in an Alabama slam hold, and then he and Shane landed an assisted neck breaker. Really cool spot. I liked it. Took a little bit to get to the to where they needed to go. I think Ciampa could have worked out of it a little bit, but the spot itself, when they executed, it looked pretty good. Miller dove over the top onto Gargano. Ciampa came back with his running knee in the corner, and he and Gargano hit their double super kick, I believe, to Thorne in the middle of the ring to get the win. Great match, but I'm of two minds on this one. I love seeing Gargano and Ciampa in the ring back-to-back weeks. They're a great team, very exciting. The fans love them. I'm just not sure having them defeat the new debuting team was the right idea. TM61, they're the new team in NXT. They should have came out here and maybe beat Skylar and Hollis or another job team you could have found to showcase their skills. I understand what they were trying to do. You have the new team going up against, I guess, the veterans. Yeah, you can call Ciampa and Gargano veterans. And, I mean, they showed signs of respect after the match. I don't know. It was just a weird way to debut TM61 in a loss. It was close. It wasn't like they got squashed, but I don't know. Starting off on a sour note like that, I don't know how that's going to leave the fans. But, like I said, I understand why they did it. Just showing them the ropes in NXT that they're not going to come in here and dominate right away. So, I'm a little tossed up. I wish they would have won their first match. Not against Gargano and Ciampa, but against a different team. And had another match with Gargano and Ciampa later. But, again, it's only one match. It's just getting started for TM61. Their future looks pretty bright in NXT. We got a video package for Samoa Joe, which started out with him winning the NXT title and then progressed from there. I'm getting confused with either Casey Kelly or that girl Andrea, whoever's doing the backstage interviews. I really can't tell them apart. They don't introduce themselves either. One of them interviewed Bayley about how she feels not competing for the Women's Championship. She said it sucks, but she understands where Regal's coming from. She just seemed a little somber, a little upset about it. But Regal in the end was right to make the decision. Nia Jax interrupted, saying that she broke her and Bayley won't be the same. Carmella came in to back up her friend, and then Alexa showed up out of nowhere, and then Nia Jax said she wasn't even worth it and walked away. And then Alexa and Carmella had some words for each other. the division's getting there. It's not as hot, not as talented as when Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch were there with Bayley. But there's some characters in there, not to use the word characters in a demeaning way, but there's some competitors in there. Bayley's still there, Asuka's still there. You have up-and-comers like Alexa, Carmella, and Nia Jax. So it's building. It's just going to take a little time to replenish the talent that they lost. They advertised the band Baby Metal in one of their theme songs for the TakeOver special, and this band creeps me the fuck out. I'm not a fan. I mean, their music's good. I'm not a huge metalhead, but it sounded good. It's just the way they look. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. We then got a vignette for some masked superstar watching old clips on like projector reel as he was taking off his mask. And I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Andrade, Andradecn Almas, coming soon. I have no idea who he is. Didn't even know that they signed another Latino Mexican star. But having another Lucha guy in NXT to replenish what they lost with the Lucha Dragons should be pretty interesting. Austin Aries came out in dress clothes. He said, "You're only the best until someone better comes along. That's why he settles for great. But how do you measure your greatness?" And he vaguely listed some of his accomplishments while not mentioning that he did it. As far as joining the hottest brand, winning titles all across multiple, what's the word I'm looking for? Promotions. There we go. And he said that timing is also everything. He said while he was debuting, other people were grabbing his attention, or the attention, not his attention, which then began a Nakamura chant. And he said that no matter who wins at TakeOver, it's only a matter of time before he's NXT champion. The lights went out and Nakamura's music began. There was a huge Nakamura chant. He started speaking in Japanese, and then he apologized and asked Austin Aries he doesn't speak Japanese, or he doesn't understand Japanese. Aries came back with, "I don't understand you." He said the NXT championship is coming to greatness, coming to King of Strong Style. The fans cheered for that. William Regal came out. He congratulated both men on their impact in NXT so far. He was impressed with them as a team last week, but he has better ideas and would love to see them compete. And he announced a match for TakeOver, Austin Aries versus Shinsuke Nakamura. They shook hands, Nakamura's music hit, and they left. NXT is the land of dream matches. Austin Aries versus Shinsuke Nakamura, I've never heard of them competing before, and just seeing Sami Zayn and Nakamura compete at the last TakeOver, and now Austin Aries and Nakamura, it's going to be great matches. I don't think Nakamura can have a bad match with anyone. Another one of the women interviewers, I'm going to go with Andrea, interviewed American Alpha. He said that the Revival was the toughest team that they faced to date, but Gable said there's no one better than themselves, and that they welcome the challenge from the Revival. Just basic stuff, putting over their team, but also putting themselves over as the best team in NXT. Second match was No Way Jose versus some job guy. I didn't get an introduction. My stream kind of froze. Not really, but I didn't care. Jose landed a nice hip toss and a jumping headlock takedown. He then landed an airplane spin, and then he went the opposite direction to continue the spin. He hit a rolling senton after that and a dancing leg drop. After an atomic drop, he hit the wind-up punch and a straight jacket slam to get the win. After the match, he went over to the announcers, started dancing with Tom Phillips. Corey Graves got up and started dancing as well, which I think got the most pop out of the crowd, more than whatever he did in the ring. I'm really not a fan of this guy. He's very limited in his moveset. The dancing thing doesn't click with me. It's the same stuff that we see with every new guy in NXT, that they breeze through a couple of job guys until they get to a challenge. I'm just waiting for that net challenge and for him to actually cut a promo or get into some sort of feud. So until then, it's whatever for me. We then got a Finn Balor video package, also beginning with the night he lost the NXT title. Asuka was interviewed. She was asked if she had a preference of the winner. She said that no matter who wins, she will defeat them, and then just stared off into the camera and then smiled and walked away. We also got word that Graves will interview Samoa Joe and Finn Balor next week, and then Austin Aries will face Elias Sampson. I'd rather be told that Elias Sampson won't be on the show. Maybe I won't even watch this match. I will. It's Austin Aries, trust me, but it's a whatever match. You know Austin Aries is going to win 1 week before TakeOver. Which led to our main event of Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax. Interesting because I've had complaints about all three women in their matches leading up to this match. They've faced inexperienced women. Nia Jax still isn't there yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how this dynamic works between the three. But not to skip over everything that happened in the match. It actually was pretty entertaining, so I give them props. As soon as the bell rang, Alexa Bliss left, and that Nia Jax went after Carmella. Nia took Carmella down. Alexa went to the top, trying to attack Nia Jax from behind, but she was spotted, went back to the outside, and then led to a commercial break. Back from break, Carmella went for a Hurricanrana, but Jax caught her, but she was able to spin her around and toss her shoulder first into the ring post, and she was sent to the outside. Bliss had Carmella by the throat, slammed her down, and then hit the double knees to the gut. She later did the same to Nia Jax and also hit the Sparkle Splash, but Carmella broke up the pin. The two smaller women went to double suplex Nia, but Jax countered and suplexed them both at the same time. A little later, Carmella went for a suicide dive, but Jax caught her, threw her back in the ring. Alexa Bliss kicked Nia Jax, and then Carmella took down Alexa Bliss, and then Carmella landed a suicide dive on the second attempt. She then hit the Bronco Buster on Alexa Bliss, and then locked into submission. Jax pulled Bliss out of the ring, picked up Carmella, but Carmella went to lock in the guillotine choke, the same one that Bayley used to make her tap in London. Nia Jax blocked the Bronco Buster, slammed Carmella down, and hit the leg drop to get the win. After the match, Asuka's music hit. She came out, raised the NXT Women's Championship while staring her down. She smiled a little bit, went to walk away, but she turned back around and walked down to the ring. The two went face-to-face, and Asuka raised the title. Nia Jax said, "The next time you come this close, I will lay you out." And the show closed right from there. This was obviously the expected outcome of the triple threat match. After Nia Jax defeated Bayley last week, you knew that Nia Jax was on a roll and going to become the NXT Women's Championship number one contender, at least, not the champion itself. We were just waiting to see how she got there. But like I said at the beginning, it was a good triple threat match. Carmella got a lot of offense in, and I don't know if it's because she was the only babyface in the match or they trust her or whatever, but she was pretty much going on all cylinders from the get-go, facing Nia Jax as the match began, taking on her and Alexa Bliss, trying to pin one of them at least. It was a little slow, a little spotty at times, but nothing that really took away from the actual match. The crowd was behind Carmella. I think they were behind Alexa Bliss with some of the near falls. But as far as the match itself, pretty good. I'm just hoping that Nia Jax steps up and can deliver at TakeOver in 2 weeks. Good show. Really wasn't a lot of in-ring action, though. As you heard, it was only 3 matches, but it was an eventful show. Nonetheless, you had some NXT TakeOver announcements. We had some nice video packages for the NXT Champion and Challenger. But overall, it went pretty quickly. Next week, like I said, we have Austin Aries against Elias Sampson. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with episode 66 next week. Peace.